Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The former, or rather the second Deputy President of Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Rigathi has made a statement in his Facebook page shocking the country. A statement I would want us without much ado to just go through swiftly. Security agents in unmarked cars have been following me wherever I go. They are parking at the entrance of my Nairobi residence, taking note of all my visitors, and they trail me whenever I leave the house, even all the way to my rural home in Nyeri. Last Sunday, the below saloon car, and there's shared that saloon car, I'm going to show you that. The below saloon car that was parked at the entrance of my residence trailed me to PCA Kerarapon Church, followed me to where I went for a late lunch and back to the house. Upon checking the NTSA portal, I noticed that the number plates are registered to a lorry. The surveillance and intimidation of Kenyans was last witnessed during the era of dreaded special branch during the 24 years of Moi misrule. In this era of extrajudicial killings, forced abductions and disappearances by state agents, I have thought it important to share with Kenyans the harassment and intimidation I am going through, and inform them to hold the state responsible if I am harmed by the state agents. I request the state to leave me alone. You hounded me out of office, and you should now allow me to enjoy my peace as a private citizen. This is the car. This is the vehicle that has been shared. This is the vehicle that Rigathi is talking about, KDK 9290S. Yeah, so he's saying this vehicle has been trailing him for better part of the day since weekend. And checking in the NTSA portal, of course, KDK 290S, date of registration, December 2022. And they're saying it's registered as a lorry. So probably the starting point is this is not a lorry, but it is registered as a lorry. I would want first to start there. The fact that the identity of the vehicle is already compromised. Because this is not a vehicle, but according to what Rigathi has shared to the country, it is registered under NTSA as a lorry. So if that identity is compromised, then where does this lie? I want to look at this story keenly, and I want to explain in details. I want us to politically interpret this statement with a very open mind. Before that, I'm requesting us that kindly subscribe to our channel. We are running a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers. As we talk, by now we have 93,500 subscribers. So we need 6,500 subscribers to hit 100,000. Click the notification bell down there and subscribe. Subscription doesn't cost even a shilling. It's actually free of charge, and even your email cannot be accessed by us in this other side, or rather by the channel. And advantage is if you subscribe, you're going to receive notification whenever we publish a video. Kindly, thank you very much for supporting this. Now, if you want to move your office items, or you have probably you want to move some of your belongings from town to up country, you're relocating, then you need to contact a reliable mover. You need to contact a reliable company that will ensure that your treasure is not tampered with and it's done in a professional manner. That is why we are in partnership with the Top Mark Movers, a startup company that is the best in moving and relocation from one place to the other. Contact them. The number is in the poster there, 0719 17 43 93. Contact Top Movers, and your logistics challenges are consider them well sorted. As someone who has been in this country, I've looked at Rigathi Gachagwa's message, and when I saw it, because he posted it like 2 hours ago, I was not so quick to analyze it, because I wanted to see what Kenyans are saying. Kenyans online are divided, while there is a school of thought that that is something that Rigathi Gachagua himself has choreographed. And there is another story that probably this is already state agents in it. However, I tend to think that Rigathi Gachagua was once within that system. And when these disappearances, arrests were done sometime last year during the protests that were led by Raila Odinga, he was part of it, so he can be able to understand better how this system works. However, I think we as a country must be wary, because our security agencies have gotten an easier way of getting away with anything, getting away with such activities. Because do you know that a Ugandan opposition leader was in this country, came from JKA, went to his office, then allegedly booked for some meeting, only to disappear? And the Foreign Affairs CS is shamelessly going to national television and telling this country that we don't know. And so people have been asking, so if Ugandan police officers came and picked Besigye here, do they have a liberty of just operating within this country without the knowledge of it? Then who is safe? If that is happening, then does it mean a police from just another department, just a security force, can just come? And they are blatantly out of, sometimes some look like ignorance, going to tell the country that we don't know, we are not involved with it, we don't know what had happened, and there is a lot of we don't know. And they come out in public, and that is what they tell the public. So, and of course, even when civil society organizations are asking the government to account for disappearances, government have gotten very escape route saying, we don't know, we are still looking for them, we've launched investigation. So as much as we want to agree that probably Rigathi can be playing a script, but we must also appreciate that the environment in which we work is very delicate, and these things do happen. And of course you cannot wish away that. But I want to say that President Ruto and the state should not be so much predictable. Yeah, this will be so much predictable. Just the other day he was out of office, they're now trailing. I think that predictability, to my end, speaks to lack of creativity. I don't know. Predictability. The bishops wanakuambia umefanya vibaya, then you go to church, you give them money. Now, why am I saying that the country must wear it? There's some few factors. There's a context that I want us to look at here of what is happening. The country must understand that William Ruto's heckling in Embu has been blamed, and you can listen to I think Mukunji.
Kweli. Asema yilisikia ukiguza Embu watu wanaruka. Then we have a problem. And Rais, tafadhali, don't be misled. The issue on matters held in Embu is what made people of Embu to express their displeasure. Na hiyo ndio kitu ambayo ilifanya watu waweze kuchemka kidogo. Na niseme, I wonder, over 43,000 people walikuwa kwa event. Nani huyu akoloded hivyo kumobilize 43,000 people? Kuchia wengine na kujia wengine. It's not making sense. Wacha watu waanze kuongea ukweli katika siasa. Na ni muhimu sana tusilete maneno yenye inafaa kuangaliwa na uongozi kama maneno ya kuongeza improvement ya uongozi wetu, kama maneno ambayo inafaa kuleta siasa. Na watu wakisema somebody like Mukunji can mobilize, kumobilize watu 43,000, kwani niko na pesa mingi aje? Hata nafaa kuwa naitisha kiti ya urais basi. Na kwa nini ni mobilize watu wenye hata waitishi nafasi mimi niongee? I did not speak. I totally did not speak in the event. At least wangesema Mukunji aongee kama nilikuwa ni mimi nimewaleta. So it is unfortunate that badala ya watu kuangalia, na hakuna hata ushetani hapo, hakuna shetani ashindwe. Hii ni maneno ya healthcare system.
Has been blamed to a clique of politicians around Rigathi Gachagua. Yes. And then Mukunji was coming out to say that it should be blamed on the governor. So remember, there is a blame game going on what happened over the weekend during that church service in Embu, where Rigathi was received and William Ruto was heckled. So William Ruto understands very well that there is a context that you have to look at. I want to believe that President Ruto's handlers are not so happy with the events of what happened in Embu. The other issue, the president is supposed to give the State of the Nation address tomorrow. And as he gives that State of the Nation address, there are also sections of Kenyans that have gone online splashing posters on some organized protests. And I've seen the police, NPS has issued a statement that they're telling members of the public that no organizers come out to issue a notice of protest, because that is what the law says. But I don't know whether anyone would dare that, because if you dare take and go notify the police of a protest, you will be arrested. I'm even wondering that. And of course, this environment, I don't know who is this person that can be so brave to go and tell the police that, you know what, I want to protest, as if they are going to allow you. That will not, according to me, that will not happen. So, there also that context is there. So you need to give her that so that you know that probably what will be the effect of what Rigathi is saying now, tomorrow. You also have to understand that there is a purge on allies of Rigathi. And who is this? And Moura was removed from communication WhatsApp group from State House. And some are also, the same purge is also going on in Parliament. Now, there is only two possibilities in it. And I'm saying two possibilities. The first possibility is that Rigathi is playing his own script. But, or rather, and if Rigathi is acting, who can prove Rigathi wrong? It is the state. Yes, the state, if Rigathi is writing all this script, it cannot take the state, NIS, long, just to tell the country that, look here, this car, because I've seen someone saying that this car belongs to one of his bodyguards. It was used by some of his bodyguards. So I want to believe that he can be, the state can be able to tell the country, look here, Rigathi is lying, this car belongs to XYZ. The other issue is true that government is trailing the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. And because the state is yet to confirm and tell us who the owner of that car is, let us take what Rigathi have said as the position. Now that begs the question. What is the threat profile of Rigathi Gachagua? There is an intentional, there is a narrative being ran, it's all over in social media saying, no, Rigathi is nobody, who can be after Rigathi? Rigathi is already done. It's being said all over, but it is a psychological warfare for the members of the public to undermine, say that Rigathi is nowhere. That is not the true position. On that end, you cannot rub off the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, because Mount Kenya is almost going away from the president, courtesy of his impeachment. Who is the current CS for Interior? Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi, and technically I think he might be given that position. I saw Raila meeting with the ODM, with the Eastern leaders, probably negotiating for Musalia Mudavadi to take up that position. Then the PS Yongei, who twangs, means with the American accent, probably might be confirmed as the CS for Foreign Affairs. Just making my projections. What could be under the wraps here? And that is why I want to say Rigathi must really tread careful. If a protest happens tomorrow, any sort of protest anywhere, a narrative will clearly be solidified that Rigathi organized that protest. Or let me say, during the first phase of the protest, President Ruto's circle tried to redrag Rigathi Gachagua. Is it possible that the cars trailing Rigathi are trailing him because they think he's the man plotting the protests? That's one thing that is here. They could be plotting to name Rigathi as the person behind the protest. All these are, to me, miscalculation because they all amount to image building and profile building. Number two, the trailing is supposed to put fear and isolate him. I want to ask you, who is this MP that will brave being around Rigathi Gachagua if he or she understands that Rigathi is a man who is now being sought by the intelligence? People will shy away. Of course. People will shy away, and that will really isolate him. In fact, others might pull out of his circle because you believe. I can tell you that sometimes the president, the state might not go after Rigathi. They will have to President Ruto knows that, and even the NIS knows that they need to protect Rigathi. Because now if something happens to Rigathi, it will be so predictable. So it is part of fear, instilling fear amongst his people who now coalesce around him. Because as I said over the weekend, you see the MPs around him, the numbers are bulging. And there are quite people who want to associate with him secretly. And of course, people have been asking, Rigathi cannot vie in this country. Why are people now coalescing around him? The other issue is, could there be some people within President Ruto's government that are working to build the profile of Rigathi? Because you also need to ask, do you think Ruto doesn't know, President Ruto doesn't know that if the more the state is paying attention to Rigathi, the more they're building his profile? Do you think they don't know? They know that. But some people will still be just working around this scheme to build the image of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, the other factor, if Rigathi is planning all this, or even if not, the timing is wrong for our country because we are in the global spotlight for violation of human rights, disappearances, and abductions. Our opposition leader from Uganda has just been abducted from the Kenyan soil. And I've seen that story getting global attention. BBC is doing that story, the Reuters, the New York Times, and even the Senate, Public Relations Senate Committee in the US has reacted to that story. Now, as the global media is covering that story, a deputy president is also saying that he's facing the same fate. So the former deputy president is also saying he's facing the same fate. So it injures the image of our country. And then it's part of a supporting document for what happened to Besigye. Because now someone will say, Rigathi Gachagua is an opposition side. An opposition leader from Uganda abducted, now opposition leader from Kenya is also facing the same fate. So it's part of adding salt into the injury. The other issue, state is trailing for, maybe they want to understand Rigathi's political network. There is a talk of Rigathi-Kalonzo coalition. Maybe they want to know what is the actual position, whom is he meeting, and what is he talking about. And I also see this as a diversionary tactic, because that backlash with the Catholic bishops has become so difficult to manage. And this could be part of the script to manage that backlash. And I really believe that it's not a good thing it's not a good position the country is in. Thank you.